Let me ask you a dangerous question. What if your brain wasn't built for laziness, but you trained it that way? Think about that for a second. The way you wake up late, scroll, delay, avoid hard things. That's not who you are. That's who you've been programmed to become. And here's the scary part. Someone out there, just like you, rewired his brain in only 7 days. He transformed from a weak, distracted version of himself into a study machine. 10+ hours of deep, focused work every single day. No burnout, no quitting, no motivation needed. How? He used a method inspired by Tony Stark. Yes, that Tony Stark. You see, people love Iron Man for his suits, his tech, and his genius. But what most ignore is what truly made him unstoppable: his ability to mentally out-evolve everyone else. Tony didn't wait to feel motivated. He engineered his mind to think faster, act sharper, and execute under extreme pressure. He brainwashed himself to be obsessed with growth, focus, and results. That mindset? That's what we call the Tony Stark protocol. And this guy, just an ordinary student, copied it. Not in a comic book way, in a real, brain-level psychological way. And what happened next was insane. But before I give you the protocol, let's break something inside you. You are not a victim of laziness. You are a victim of what you've been feeding your brain daily. If your brain is constantly exposed to easy dopamine, YouTube shorts, scrolling, loud distractions, zero clarity, then don't be surprised when it rebels against hard work. But here's what Tony Stark would do. He'd cut the noise. He'd lock himself in a lab. He'd delete distraction and upload obsession. He'd literally build an environment where excellence was the only option. That's what this student did too. In just 7 days, he created a system where studying wasn't a task, it was a reflex. His brain stopped resisting. Why? Because he brainwashed it to stop craving dopamine and start craving progress. Let me say this directly to you. If you don't program your mind with purpose, the world will program it for you with weakness. So, if you've ever said, "I want to study like a maniac. I wish I had that Iron Man level of focus. I want to feel addicted to progress," then this is not just a video. It's your activation protocol. It's the blueprint for mental re-engineering. This isn't about copying Tony Stark's tech. It's about copying his mindset, his obsession, his ruthless ability to rebuild himself from nothing. And if you stay till the end of this video, I'll show you how this student rewired his identity in 7 days, how he trained his brain to crave 10+ hours of study like it craved social media before, and how you can do the same starting today. This isn't theory. This is war between the old lazy you and the upgraded, focused version you're about to become. Let's begin the transformation. Welcome to the Tony Stark Brainwash Method. Day 1. Identity upgrade. I'm not a student, I'm a creator. Let's destroy the first lie. You're not just a student. That word is weak, passive, boring. It carries the energy of waiting, for motivation, for deadlines, for pressure to kick in. But Tony Stark, he doesn't wait, he creates. New tech, new suits, new solutions, always ahead, always obsessed. So on day 1, this student made a decision. He stopped thinking like a student and rewired his identity. I am not here to study for grades, I'm here to design my future. Like Stark in his lab, I create, I build, I invent, I execute. He wrote it down, repeated it 20 times, looked himself in the mirror and whispered it into his nervous system. Why? Because the brain always obeys identity. If you keep saying I'm lazy or I can't focus, your mind will make sure it's true. But when you start saying, I'm a creator, I am addicted to progress, suddenly your actions follow that new belief. This was day 1, the software install. Because without this identity switch, nothing else will last. Day 2, dopamine detox. Kill the junkie before it kills your focus. Your brain is addicted, not to study, but to scrolling, distractions, reels, memes, and quick hits of dopamine. This addiction is the #1 reason you can't sit still for 10 minutes. Tony Stark would never allow his brain to be hijacked like this. So, what did the student do? He went cold turkey for 24 hours. No Instagram, no YouTube, no shorts. Grayscale mode on the phone, social apps locked with a password only a friend knew. And yes, his brain screamed. He felt irritated, bored, angry, empty. But that was the point. That was the withdrawal. That was the moment his brain started waking up. By starving the cheap dopamine, he forced his brain to find reward in real growth. Reading, solving, studying. He wrote this on his wall. No cheap dopamine until deep work is done. From that day, pleasure was no longer free. It had to be earned. By building, by learning, by creating. Exactly like Stark. Progress first, pleasure later. Day 3. Build the lab. Reconstruct your environment like Tony Stark. Your brain is not weak, your environment is. And just like Tony Stark builds his Ironman suit inside a laser-focused lab, you need to create your own mental lab for high-performance study. On day 3, the student deleted everything from his desk except 3 things. 1 water bottle, 1 timer, 1 study resource. No books, no distractions, no clutter. Then he made a rule. This desk is not for chilling. This is my lab. When I sit here, I study. Period. His phone? Not even in the same room. Bed? Not in the line of sight. Posters? Gone. Minimalist. Stark-like. Why? Because your brain reacts to what it sees. Messy room equals messy mind. Cluttered desk equals scattered focus. Every time he entered this space, his brain knew this is where creation happens, not consumption. This environmental design made distraction impossible. And over time, just sitting in the chair flipped his brain into focus mode automatically. Day 4. Anchor the mind, the Stark Ritual Protocol. Tony Stark never enters battle without a pre-launch protocol. Neither should you. So on day 4, the student created a ritual, a sequence to lock his brain into deep focus. Every time he was about to study, he did this. Drink cold water to wake the nervous system. 2. 10 jumping jacks to stimulate blood flow and energy. 3. Deep breath. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale 4. 4. Sit down, start the timer, and whisper, "Let's build." He repeated this ritual before every study session. Morning, afternoon, night. Same steps, same pattern. Why? Because the brain is a machine. It connects routines with states. Over time, just doing the ritual made his mind automatically enter hyperfocus. Like Stark stepping into the suit, snap, everything changes. Discipline wasn't needed anymore. The ritual became the trigger for elite-level study. Day 5. Micro-sprint method. Turn hours into missions. Tony Stark never works aimlessly. Every minute is part of a mission. So on day 5, the student began the war room technique. Here's how it worked. Study in 50-minute sprints. 10-minute active break. No phone, just movement or breath. Each session was called a mark, like Ironman suits. Mark 1, Mark 2, all the way to Mark 10. This wasn't just gamification, it was mission mode. Each block became a battle. He started tracking his sessions on a board. The more marks he built, the more progress he felt. At 6 marks a day equals 5 hours. 10 marks a day equals 8+ hours. And the obsession grew. This wasn't studying, this was manufacturing output. This was becoming Stark in the war room. Day 6. Neural reprogramming. The obsession loop. This was the turning point. The moment he went from discipline to obsession. On day 6, he did something unusual. He picked one line and repeated it out loud again and again. I am addicted to mastering hard things. Not 5 times, not 10, 100 times. Out loud, with emotion, with certainty, until his voice cracked. Until his mind cracked, until that belief went deep. This is called neural reinforcement, and it works. Why do you think people with trauma repeat patterns? Because repetition programs the subconscious. So, if you repeat weakness, you become it. But if you repeat obsession with mastery, you become dangerous. From that moment on, even when he felt bored, tired, or unfocused, his brain echoed back, "But we're addicted to this now." Motivation gone. Reprogramming complete. Day 7, the mirror test, become the machine. On the final day, he stood in front of the mirror, stared into his own eyes, and asked the question, "Who am I now?" He saw someone different, not lazy, not lost, but sharp, intentional, controlled. He whispered, "I am no longer the version of me who waits for motivation. I am the machine. I build daily. I evolve by choice." Then he opened his book, set the timer, and started Mark 1 again. No resistance, no delay, just flow. From day 1 to day 7, he hadn't just learned how to study, he had installed a new operating system. Tony Stark didn't change the world with magic, he did it with mind control, on himself. And now, so had this student. Reinforce the transformation, trigger emotional engagement, encourage comments and discussion, create a sense of community, plus challenge. So now you know the truth. This wasn't motivation. This was a manual brain upgrade. Just like Tony Stark built his first suit in a cave under pressure, you now have the tools to build your mind, under chaos, distraction, and doubt. But the question is, will you actually do it? Because 99% of people will watch this and scroll away. But 1%? They'll do it. They'll wake up tomorrow and begin day 1. They'll say, "I'm not just studying, I'm evolving." So I'll ask you this, are you in the 1% or not? Type, "I'm starting day 1" in the comments if you're serious. Let's see who's just watching and who's actually becoming dangerous. And if you've already tried something like this, comment what day changed you the most. I'm reading every single one.